Good morning. It's April 20th, and as you can see, we had another skiff of snow last night. Very light, and out where the sun is hitting, like in the playground in the school out back of our house, it's already cleared off. But there's some, so once again, a little bit in the snow here this morning. Hardly counts. I thought I'd take a turn more towards the downtown area today. I'll take a slight detour over to Leopold Crescent, just to walk along a different crescent as I head that way. Had a good day yesterday working on the Tangled Stars, made good progress. I'll be back at that today. I've also got a presentation I'm doing tonight with the Regina Public Library on writing fantasy. Have to give some thought to. I've done that sort of talk before, so it's not a huge... I can blather on for an hour about writing anytime. I'll draw some on my podcast and what I've heard from the authors there, so that should be fun. You can still get in on it. I don't know if you have to be a Regina Library patron or not, but if you go to reginalibrary.ca and look it up under programs, you'll see it's there tonight at 7 o'clock. Zoom, of course. Last night we were rehearsing, I'm just looking down the alley there, for the Flip the Script program that Regina Lyric Musical Theatre is doing. As I've mentioned before, my wife and I are doing a duet. That's what we were practicing last night. I'm doing a quartet, singing and playing all four parts. We've got a green screen we'll be shooting in front of, and then Jane Herson, who's the director, will add in whatever background she deems appropriate to that. So let me get this set right. That should be fun. Anyway, we were rehearsing our number last night. We'll have to record it tonight. They want it all in tomorrow. I haven't walked along this part of Leopold, I don't think, in this direction anyway. It's one of three crescents, Leopold, Angus, and then Connaught, which is a half crescent, which cut off by the schoolyard, Davin School. Crescent School now, but it's all be Davin to us. Oh, somebody already saying hi? Hi, Miriam. Yeah, we got a touch of snow again last night. Won't last long. You can see it more in the shade over there. Over here on this side, you can see grass starting to turn green, so we are getting there, spring-wise. So I think I'll kind of zigzag around in the downtown transition area today. I've been down there for a few days. It's Albert Street in front of us, the busy one that I've mentioned several times. Runs north-south through the city. Kind of the main drag. And occasionally people do drag on it. It's based on the sounds of their engines at night. Sometimes followed by the sounds of sirens, so... I don't know if they're on Albert or not. It could be anywhere. Regina's small enough you can hear loud engines from the other side of town, probably. Over there's the Royal Saskatchewan Museum, which I've walked by before and will walk by again. You can see the sign for it there. Nice houses along here on the crescent. Cross up here at the light, go over to the other side and zigzag around in the downtown area is my plan. such as it is. Beautiful blue sky today. You wouldn't know it was snowing last night, except for what little bit is left in the shadow here and there. So you can't cross on this side of the street. People do, but you're not supposed to. This is one way to my left, so I know there's nobody coming. That low brick building was the original Saskatchewan Government Telephones building and is now part of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. So, as I mentioned before, that's where a lot of their fossils are worked on. Well, looks like I really caught this wrong. I could have possibly crossed right then and there if I wanted to. So I mentioned a few years ago there was a big news item about a dinosaur fossil in Amber, I think, or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, I was reading this in like international news stories, and I knew that it was here, like a block from my house. It was kind of cool. I've been in there once or twice. And then over there is the actual museum on that corner. Back in the early 20th century, they started to build a huge hotel on that corner, and actually built a lot of the structural steel actually went up, but that's as far as it went. That was about 1912, maybe 14, somewhere along in there. When the project collapsed, then all that steel and stuff was taken down. There's supposedly a house, I probably walked by it down by the creek, that uses some of the building materials that were left over from that. Failed hotel. It's a shame. It would have changed everything if Regina had boomed the way they thought it would. If it boomed the way they thought it would, I'd be standing in someplace more like downtown Toronto at the moment. But they were overly optimistic, and between economic busts, drought, war, the city boomed and then stopped booming. And then the Depression in the 30s really put a damper on things. I think there's more notes there. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Good presentation of trees. Skiff? I don't think skiff is a northern expression. I think it's a perfectly common expression, used everywhere. It's used everywhere in my head. That's all that really matters. It's my brother. So the house here on my left belonged to Morris and Jackie Ymca, who were good friends of my wife's family and then of me. And been in that house many times. In fact, our wedding shower was held in there. They're both gone now. Jackie just died not that long ago. She hadn't lived there for a while. It's actually two houses put together. It's very cool inside. And they had amazing artwork, which has been donated, I think, to the university mostly, but I don't know for sure. I'm going to just kind of zigzag through this area today. I like that. Used to be a house, now it's offices of some kind, but I like the looks of it. Yeah, I used to come here and I'd pick up Jackie from this back door, and she came to a lot of our birthdays and stuff like that. And they were great patrons of the arts, which is why there's a Ymca Theatre in the Mackenzie Art Gallery, and what's called the Shoebox, another Ymca Theatre, Black Box Theatre at the university. Their names show up in other places. When Alice was born, Jackie had donated a grand piano to Government House, which it's in the ballroom there. It's used for, the ballroom there has often been used by the symphony for smaller, like they have a Baroque series that they do there. And it was being dedicated, and I'd been asked to sing. So I did a couple of songs, but Alice had literally just been born, been up for hours, not well rested. And I kind of messed up a verse of Gigi, which I was singing because it was a favorite song of Jackie's. And, you know, it was fine. Everybody understood. But after it was over, it was actually the Lieutenant Governor, Linda Haverstock, who explained, you know, that my wife had just had a baby. And so, well, among the people there were the Premier, Lauren Calvert at the time. So, and Victor Sawa was the maestro of the symphony, and, you know, various big shots. So I was able to say that Alice's birth was announced to the Premier by the Lieutenant Governor at Government House, which you can't say about every kid, so. Nice restaurant over there in that corner that we've gone to a few times. Has a nice deck, although it's plagued by wasps during the summer, like most outside decks in Saskatchewan are, Regina are. I'll keep zigging up here, or possibly zagging. Cinnaboya Gallery is a lovely commercial gallery that we've bought pieces from. I've gone to many openings here. Know the family that owns it. This condo here, when we were looking to buy a condo, we went in here to see what this company's condos were like. They're very nice. And so this is a version of what was then built over a couple of blocks over where we ended up with the condo. You can see how the sun is taking care of the snow the moment it emerges from the shadows. So it's a mixture of older houses and apartment buildings and new ones and refurbished ones. It's usually called the transition area because it's transitioning between residential and business, but it's been transitioning for the 25 years I've lived in Regina. 25 years? 32 years. 32 years I've lived in Regina now. I mean, it's always had, obviously, apartment buildings down here, like that old one over there. But a lot of the buildings that look like houses are now offices. Not all, but a lot of them. All right, we'll zig again. Maybe. It's another art gallery, commercial gallery, and sort of gift shop space over there. It has a restaurant in it. Kiplinger. An old apartment building here on my right. There you go. Henry's Cafe, it's called. Closed like everything else right now to in-store dining. And then another older one here on this corner. Excuse my throat clearing. Drugstore to my right. Over on the left is Tangerine, which is a nice little restaurant. Been in many times. And coffee shop. Could probably get coffee in there right now, but again, not allowed to sit down. Stopping, they're turning. I hate it when people don't signal in plenty of time. So over here, we'll step into the shade and immediately we're in the snow again. I've had comments from both Facebook and YouTube this morning. So if you're there watching live, let me know. I know people do and don't leave comments. I can tell from the statistics later. Throat clearing again. May have inherited that from my dad. He was a great throat clearer. He was also allergic to cats, and I always thought I wasn't allergic to cats. And then I didn't have a cat for a while. And we got a cat, even though he's mostly non-allergenic, as much as cats can be. He was actually tested, found to be low in the main protein that you're allergic to. Siberians, which is what he is, are anecdotally known for that and are trying to breed it. So obviously that's a big selling point. And my wife's allergic and she lives happily with him, so it seems to be true in his case. Nevertheless, once we got him after I had the cat for a while, I realized that, I probably am at least slightly allergic to cats, which wouldn't be surprising given my dad. Salvation Army coming up here on the right as we make our next zig or zag. Haven of Hope Ministry series. It's not their church. Ministry Center, I should say. And we're on 13th. Looking into the sun. I probably can't see if you do leave a comment at the moment. Taking off my hat. It's getting warm. Walking. Again, you can see that sharp line. The minute it emerges from the sun, away it goes, the snow. I'm not even sure you'd call it melting. It looks like it's sublimating. It's just vanishing. Older apartment building on that corner. All right, we'll zig again. This will take us up to Victoria, which I've walked along many times, Victoria Avenue. We're on the snowy side. Well, both sides are snowy here because this building's tall enough to still be casting a shadow right across it. We're not in the park, but you can still hear the geese. So as soon as we go in the shade, it'll look like winter again. Here, all of a sudden, it's winter again. Power Play Management, hockey player agents and advisors. I always wondered about that place, who their agents, who their clients are. This is 2001, so I could call this 2001 a space odyssey, I guess. Oh, I love the name of this place. The Saskatchewan Seniors Mechanism. It's such a strange word to apply to an organization. Mechanism. I always picture something very steampunky and mechanical. So we're coming up on the back side of the Hotel Saskatchewan here. Not as attractive as the front. And then on the other side over here is the land titles building, which I've walked by in front before. We will walk in front of the hotel and then up Scar Street as we continue to zigzag. In the shade, I'm wishing I'd left my hat on. Victoria Park in front of us, where they recently took down the statue of John A. Macdonald because heaven help us if history isn't rewritten. There's the front of the hotel. Right behind those windows is where I like to write when I can, in the hotel lobby bar. Let's call it the lounge, that sounds better. It has great tables and they're very comfortable to sit at and write for long periods of time. And you can order beer, so there's that too. There's a Radisson, it used to be a Radisson, now it's a Marriott. And then there's the Sask Power building, which is being completely redone. So it's covered in scaffolding from head to foot. We'll go, I guess we'll go over and walk down the other side. Scarth. There should be a fountain on this corner. I don't know if it's coming back or not. I hope it is. And now it's just construction equipment. And federal government building from a previous era. I like that a lot. It was redone a few years ago. Then if you come over here, those two matching skyscrapers, the Twin Towers, quite distinctive. I don't know why I'm waiting. I'm pretty sure I could have jaywalked. I may have missed the light while I was talking about weather. I think I'll take my chances. Oh, geese up there on top of the building, on the corner. Usually where you look for pigeons. Pretty empty down here this morning. It's right after work will have started, so people who are coming down here are already down here, but of course a lot of people are working from home again, or still. Copper Kettle Restaurant on this corner. It's a nice mural on the side of that. So you can do takeaway here still. And then there's the O'Hanlon's, which is a pub. It's not doing a lot of business right now. Hope it comes back. And this used to be sushi, but it's not anymore. Apparently it's going to be a poutineery. Oh, that's new, coming soon. Little liquor store, which I've never even been in. You can see we're looking down the Scar Street Mall, which is a pedestrian mall that leads to the Cornwall Center down there. In the shade, wishing I'd left my hat on again. There's called City Plaza, I think they call it. It's where the farmers market will be once it starts up again outside in May. Building to my right is Canada Life. When I first moved here, there was a movie theater here, which is a really old theater. And one time it had been like the sort of the main theater in town in some ways. And the best story I know about it is that Boris Karloff was apparently doing a play in Regina back about 1912, and it might have been in that location. Anyway, his company that he was with fell through. The theatrical company collapsed while he was in Regina, so he was stuck in Regina. And he actually was involved in the cleanup after the cyclone before he moved on. His career continued. He didn't end as a manual laborer in Regina. Somebody I know wrote a musical about it, actually, that the Regina Summer Stage did a few years ago. There has been, and hopefully will be again, a nice restaurant in here. I don't know. It's all very iffy with restaurants right now, which ones are going to survive and come back. All right, now we'll go up Hamilton. The white building over there is the Leader building. That's where the Regina Leader was, now the Leader Post at one time. And then there's a nice pub next to it, Lancaster. It was called the Capitol Jazz Club. And Lancaster, which has other part of several connected establishments. Haven't been in there since it became a Lancaster because, again, hard to be anywhere. Next to it, Colin O'Brien men's store, where I bought the very leather jacket I'm wearing now. You can see the walkway over the street for bad weather. On my left, these buildings are all new. And Farm Credit Corporation headquarters building is up here on my left. Banks on 3 of the 4 corners of this next intersection. And there's the sculpture of the geese that I've walked by before. One of our nicer outdoor public art. I'll walk that way. Still zigzagging, and then I'll zigzag back on a different set of streets, is my plan. Nobody coming. So there's the geese sculpture. I can safely jaywalk this way too. Hotel over there. Another Zig or Zag. Not the most scenic side. Lovely view of a parking garage. Warm now. Warm in the sun, cool in the shade. Winter in the shade, spring in the sun. Parking everywhere. Not much to say about this street. It's not the most exciting piece of the street by any means. You have to watch out you don't get run over by people coming from parking. Adds a certain excitement, I guess. It's actually the Hotel Delta on my left. So this parking over here is used by the hotel and then has the walkway across to it. And directly in front of us, coming into view, is Casino Regina, which, when I first moved here, was still the train station before the trains stopped running. Passenger trains stopped coming to Regina. Via only goes through Saskatoon, Melville, not Regina. So it became a casino, and that's what it's been now for many years, but at least the building was preserved on the outside. They have a restaurant that's in an old dining car. You can sort of see it over there in the corner. And then over there is their show lounge. Been to a couple of shows in there, but not too many because they wouldn't allow people under 19. And we always had Alice, and we took her to shows, so we kind of wrote their shows off of our list of places to go. I suppose we could go now. She's 20, or almost 20. She'll be 20 in June. Oh, maybe I should have left my hat on. Now I'm in the wind. I'll walk a couple of blocks this direction, so I change my zigzag back a bit more. Don't repeat myself too much. It's a Saskatchewan Drive we're walking along. Most towns in Saskatchewan would call it Railway Avenue because it runs alongside the railway. There were a lot of railway avenues in Saskatchewan towns. This is the mall to my left, where I've gone into on a couple of these walks and temporarily suspended recording while I went to the drugstore. Not sure what's over there now. It might still be part of the post office, but all from the same era. Sort of government building. And then the green one up ahead is the post office. Haven't had any comments from anybody watching for a while. If there's anybody new, feel free to comment on YouTube or Facebook. If you're watching a recording of this, you can still comment on Facebook if you're watching the recording. Although the recording of the live stream stays on Facebook, I do post the nice YouTube version later. It's also possible, of course, that I've lost my signal somewhere along here. It's the one downside to the live stream. It can go buffering and I have no clue. Like when I walk under here, will it buffer? I don't know. This is the Saskatchewan building to my left where Margaret Ann works when she's working from her office. Well, I've dropped her off here many a time. Post office across the street. Kind of mesmerizing. The pillars going by on one side and the windows on the other. If you're easily mesmerized. Well, there's the post office again, the front of it. Parking garage over here. And that white dome you can see way up in the distance, that's Mosaic Stadium. Our big stadium, home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Major concerts, that sort of thing. Seats about, what is it, 32,000, 38,000? I think over 30,000. Replaced Taylor Field, which had a great history, but was a very bare bones kind of, like an overgrown high school bleachers almost. You should be able to see Taylor Field from here, but it was torn down. It would have been between us and the new stadium down there. Okay, we will zig back again now. Start making my way home. I'll be making my way back to you. Got a walk light, so we might as well cross the street here. Not that there's a lot of traffic. All right, say goodbye to Saskatchewan Drive. We are now wending back towards Angus Crescent and home. How long has this been? Yeah, this will be not the same as they usually are, around about an hour. Building on the left is another Saskatchewan building. It actually says Sask-L at the moment. Looks like the T's falling off the sign. That's where the switch, kind of where the big switching equipment is. Like this ghost sign here that shows what used to be here. Steinway Pianos, Child and Gower. Long before my time. Oh. But I've always looked at this this family here. Must have been the 50s, I would think. I don't quite know why he walks on his tiptoes, but anyway. Oh, and that's SGI over there. all gold. That's the Saskatchewan government insurance, so my car insurance comes from them and my house insurance. Building on my right is actually an old office building, but you can't see the old part down here where it's clad in this newer brick. All right, we'll go this way. It's sunny, or maybe I can get across safely here. Not my favorite mural, but there's a mural. Very odd mural. Newtown Chinese restaurant has been there forever, certainly as long as I've been in Regina. The Cure Kitchen and Bar, nothing about that. Hopefully they come back. Maybe I can try eating there. I didn't even know they existed until now. Métis Nation over there. Another Zig. This will take us by, I'll go over to the sunny side. This will take us by courthouse. Different courthouse than I've walked by before. Oh yeah, that was the vintage record store I just went by. Over there. Vintage Vinyl and Hemp Emporium. Yeah, they were a hemp emporium before cannabis was legalized. I seem to recall some problem in that area, legal problem a few years ago, but wouldn't want to say because I don't remember for sure. So here's the provincial court over here. Courthouse. Not exactly inspired architecture on that one, I think. This building over here is the backside of a big condo building, kind of caters to seniors. Fairly new, that one. This one here is fairly modern, but it's been here as long as I've lived in the city. The nice old buildings over there. Like most, it's some sort of provincial government building for the most part, I would think. This is a government town. Capital of Regina, capital of Saskatchewan. I like it with the flags flying on top. Then the forbidding looking building up there on the left is Canada. That's the tax people. That's why it looks like a fortress. They're either telling you your money is safe with them, or we know you hate us, but we're not going to let you get in. This is just a parking garage, backside of City Hall there. Oh, well, this worked out well. I've mentioned it before, but this is probably the oldest building. Sort of the oldest building downtown. St. Paul's Anglican Cathedral, I guess, actually. Very nice old church. Very British looking, very English looking. I've been there a few times. Mostly for musical things. And another Zig. Doesn't matter much. We'll go down this side. The buildings are tall enough, it's snow on both sides. And this will take us by City Hall again on my left here. Right there. this is the plaza in front of City Hall. Walk through there sometime, but it's in the wrong direction right now. There's a fountain there that's not up and operational yet. That used to be the YWCA. I guess it still is. I wasn't sure if they were still there or not. And the other courthouse is up here. The federal one, I guess. Municipal one. Maybe that's a municipal one. I don't actually know. I've never been in there, I don't think. The only time I've ever been in court, provincial court, I was contesting a not a speeding ticket, a parking ticket, I think. And I had photographic proof that they had made a mistake. I got off. This will take us back to Albert Street if I keep zigging. So maybe I will go down here instead before I go over to Albert. It's because it's quieter. This is the Salvation Army. Oh, it was. That says a law firm. Oh, there you go. That used to be the Salvation Army Church building. Don't know when that changed, probably years ago, and I just now noticed, as one does, when one isn't driving, but walking. Over on the left was the downtown YMCA, which is now closed permanently, which is where I used to go to the gym. Also a pool, and, you know, great facilities, so I don't know what's going to happen to it. Alice went there for her daycare for a few years, and it was great because they had all those facilities for the kids, and they could walk to the park and things like that. Another big mural on this building here, and then Credit Union Central is right there, which I've walked by the other side of a few times. My dentist used to be in here. Not anymore. My optometrist was up on top of the Ymca Tower downtown on the 17th floor, which was great because if you got new glasses, you could look out from the 17th floor and see just how sharp everything suddenly was. All right, now we'll go down here to Albert. This is main fire station on my left. Our hall. And 13th Avenue, which I've walked down before, straight ahead. I'll cross Albert wherever the lights. The way this looks, I should probably cross it here. I'll probably get the light pretty quick. Get a view down 13th here. Our signal. Oh, good. This worked out so I can walk by the cat cafe and see if there's any cats in the window. If you're watching live and haven't dropped a comment and would like to, that would be nice to know you're there. Sterling Silver Distillery and Tasting Room. I've never been in there since it became what it is now. It started as a restaurant that I was in a couple of times. We started making vodka. And we're famous for that. Nouveau Gallery here is a gallery we often have bought things at and visit regularly. Commercial gallery. Hi. Yes. I have to have my camera going, so here you go. A couple of cats and that'll confuse the camera. And again, where we got married, First Presbyterian. Okay. I'll zig over again. Getting close to home now. The older apartment building here on the corner. And there's First Presbyterian from this side. Not only were we married there, I've sung in there many times in concerts. Back when I sang with the University of Regina Chamber Singers, directed by Dr. Catherine Moran, that's where our concerts were. Always frustrating because, you know, arts people don't always think of other things. And she invariably, it seemed like, would schedule our winter concert, our November Christmassy concert, on Grey Cup Sunday. Well, Grey Cup is a big deal for sports-minded people, or even people who aren't sports-minded. If there's going to be one sport they like, it's liable to be the CFL, at least in Regina. So, of course, we lost audience members who were going to stay home and watch Grey Cup. And meanwhile, there were those of us in the choir who would very much have liked to have stayed home and watched the Grey Cup. And we were stuck there singing, so this is a bread and breakfast with a dragon on it. I think it's called the Dragon's Nest. Oops. This is Angus Street now, which connects to Angus Crescent. And then there's Angus Boulevard too. Mr. Angus is well recognized, whoever he was. Don't think he's the same Angus that the beef is named after. So still older houses here, but these condos on the other side. Some of these were clearly made from the same pattern as the one next to them. There's one of them along here I've been into. Quite nice inside. They're a bit older than our house, I think. Ours was built in 26. I think these were built maybe, some of them at least, a few years before that. We're gonna zig again. I don't think I've walked down Ray, little piece of Ray here, which leads to the schoolyard. I actually think I'll go. I'll go around our alley so I can put away our garbage can, which was picked up yesterday. The longer it sits out, the more bags of dog poop accumulate in it. If you leave it in the alley, I don't suppose I should care, but we can bring it through our backyard fence and tuck it away nicely. That's what I usually do. So this little piece of Ray Street here, Ray, R-A-E, not Race Street. Race Street was in Searcy, Arkansas, I think. I think that's what they called kind of the main drag there where I went to university. I think it was Race Street. I think the sort of the round windows and the roof line on that one. I guess I could walk through the schoolyard. Might be a little damp. Probably not bad though. Maybe I'll do that. Why did the live streamer cross the road to get to the schoolyard? Why did the live streamer cross the schoolyard to get to the other side? Increasingly warm and sweating live streamer. One of these days I can do it in shirt sleeves and even shorts when it gets warmer. Not that anybody watching will be able to see that, so I do my best not to appear on camera. Only if I drop this should I appear on camera or something else go wrong. We'll just walk across the schoolyard. It's probably not too wet. That's Davin School. Yeah, they call it Crescent School, but it's all be Davin School to us. Again, part of that rash of trying to somehow erase the past because he didn't like the people of the time, whatever they thought then, because they weren't as enlightened as us. Anyway, that's where Alice went to elementary school. Margaret Ann actually was on the committee that oversaw the building of that gazebo there. So Alice used to play out here all the time. Oh, those swings are new since her day. And since she's turning 20 this year, her day here was some time ago now. Here's the gate. Nice playground, big playground. Back side of the school. Lots of kids here in nicer weather and less pandemic-y weather. All right, here's our alley. So our house is one of these that backs onto the alley, and this was Alice's playground, school playground, so I saw it happen. She could come home and still be saying goodbye to people on the playground through the fence here when she was actually in our backyard. So it was very handy school-wise. All right. Okay. So I guess I'll quit here. Maybe not with a view of the alley. I'll look at the school instead. Oh. Didn't want to change. It's interesting. All of a sudden it won't let me move off of that view. Well, we'll stop there anyway. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow.